So we learned that the decision making is usually most, and the prioritizing is at the frontal lobe, which is a
Mm,
very limited resources in the
Mhm.
day.
yeah,
Usually, once you wake up, you have it fully charged, and you have a very limited resources. So your best decisions is going to be early in the day, and not
yeah.
your best decision will be at the end of the day when you're really tired and drained. So that will save a lot of resources from decision making and prioritizing through the day.
So
Yes.
welcome to this week's episode of AI Because. So Greg is out playing with cows still. Michael is back from wandering the globe, wherever there was sunshine and beaches. And well, actually sunshine, beaches, and just heat when I think about Las Vegas. Uh,
Vitamin D.
yeah, there you go. Steve may pop in. He's got technical stuff going on as we're recording, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from around the world. We're going to hit some stuff on Copilot, some really cool GPTs that people have developed that give you some functionality, updates on chat and some functionality on that from Michael and I, as well as just jump into Grok really quick, which is the latest LLM from Musk. So that being said, I would love just real quick, what's going on, Manoj, in your world? What's been happening? Because I know you did a couple trainings on Copilot.
Yes, we did our successful training course on Copilot for risk and compliance professional this week. Went really well, a lot of good feedback. So we're going to do more of it going forward. So just getting ready to schedule the next one in May. And we see that a lot of organizations are now starting to give Copilot access. So there is that need for training, and we're
Yeah,
going to try to satisfy some of that need in the
I
market.
love it, especially in that space that you're in. Not
Yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
is knowledgeable around the finance and risk space. So I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, especially businesses that niche, is gonna need Copilot to
Yeah.
leverage
Yeah.
that potential.
How about you, Michael? I know you're recently back.
Do you remember the full
Not
form of
much.
AI? Do you remember the full form of AI?
He uses it constantly.
No, not much. Just
You
so
always
I
say
was
that.
Not much,
so
Literally
yeah.
traveled around the globe on stuff, and he's like, not much, not much has been going on.
it was that conference I attended with Russell Brunson and many other team members. It was a very eye-opening experience
Yeah,
on how AI can leverage a lot of things for business to scale and grow. And we're still in the game, and it's just beginning. It's not ending, or it's
Yeah,
not the train didn't we
oh
didn't
yeah.
miss it. No, we're just starting right now.
Yeah, we've just
yeah,
done the toss.
Yes, exactly. It's just starting. The game is
Yeah.
yeah,
just starting. So yeah, not much, but it just like um recently I've been playing as well with a few new features on ChatGPT, which is the deep researcher, and I find that valuable. So maybe I can share that
yeah,
them
yeah.
in a few
No,
minutes.
I think
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, that's a newer feature with that as well. Same thing
Yeah.
with you. I think for me, it's when I think about it, AI is just more of my go-to now. In fact, it was funny. I was doing some stuff in Grok. You and I were on a call the other night, and we were doing stuff for a client. And I was asked, "Oh, is that your new go-to now, Grok?" And I said, "No, but
Yeah.
chat is still, right? But it's one of those things when you've got this resource available to you." Play with it, test it out, find out what it can do, what's different. Because I think I was sharing with you guys is I was listening to another podcast, and there's this site that kind of does this blind taste test, if you will, but across LLMs. And so people don't know what they're doing, but they're looking at responses and providing, feedback on which one they prefer. And Grok is up there. And what's
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
is Grok didn't take decades to develop or 5 to 8 years. It was like a year or so
Yeah.
that it's up and running. And it's like everything that came up they just blew through it. Like, where can we house all this stuff? And it's like what is 100,000 GPUs, which was unheard of. They're like, why
Yeah.
would you need that much? Well, it turns out that upfront learning makes a difference. but they found a location, they solved the overheat problem, they solved the resource problem. And what I love is the comment someone made is that transformation requires a constraint of some kind, right? So Musk, in his case, it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't a talent resource issue. So his artificial constraint, the constraint he did was time. And so I share that because I think about me with my business or the stuff that I'm doing. And a lot of times people complain about procrastination. I think that's the way to get out of that mode, right? And the way of it's always been done this way is create an artificial constraint, whatever it may be. If one doesn't exist, create it. And I think we're going to be more creative when that happens. Michael, what's on your brain?
And I think you got it. So, and I think I think we used to hear get out of your comfort zone, but I think if we rephrase that, it comes back to Vic's um, phrase that he shared with us, which is get over that fear. To when you get over that fear, you can experience an imaginable experience and breakthroughs. So with this story that you're just sharing, sometimes even you can create a synthetic fear to get it over, and that's a new strategy, and that's very interesting. But the idea is just to get over that hump
Yeah,
again, still,
yeah.
to do the
Well, and
breakthrough.
just to be able to tap into creativity. Yeah, I've been listening to another podcast with Mel Robbins, and she had Martha Beck on, and they were talking about all that stuff with being stuck and everything else. And our view on being stuck with things is don't view it like it's this permanent thing. View it like, oh my God, something amazing is about to happen. Because the reality of it is, it is. Your brain is going to work through this stuff, and because it's working in the background all the time. So anyway, it's an interesting thought to have and to be able to bring it into what we do every day. So
There was
I, yeah,
there
go
was a
ahead.
story, Michelle. I don't know whether you heard that. Somebody asked Grok who spreads the biggest lies on X, and it answered Elon Musk.
Really? Oh, I love it.
Fired!
So
So
you
it's like
know what? We'll see
Elon Musk
it.
model is saying Elon Musk
Well,
is the
and I
biggest
love
liar.
that because it's not limiting responses. So he went in there and didn't train it to have biases, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, but
Um,
when it was reported,
that's
then
hilarious.
an engineer went and it then disabled. It put a sensor
Oh, it did go ahead and
for
have a bias.
for
Okay.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Oh, that's
Because he
hilarious. They
cannot
didn't
fire
ask any
Grok.
questions. So they
He
did do it.
cannot fire.
Doggone
Yeah,
it.
no, but then yeah, they when some people reported, oh, it's no longer telling the truth.
Yeah.
Then they went and said, oh, it was this engineer. It was not Elon Musk. He didn't say to go and put that thing. It was an engineer who went and put that restriction
So did they
in
release
the
the
model.
restriction now?
Yes, yeah, yeah, they had to,
Okay,
yeah,
so they're
because
back. Okay, good.
that's the whole selling point of this model is uncensored compared to the
Exactly.
other.
Yes, and
Yeah,
unbiased to
Exactly.
anything,
yeah,
and that's what makes it very unique.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and just the way it's processing through, so we'll show you. So,
yeah.
Manoj, we'll kick off to you first, sir, on some Copilot stuff, and then a GPT or a GPT first, and then Copilot, whatever frickin' order you want.
Okay, so first, I want to share this GPT, which is available on smarterx.ai/jobs GPT. So this is from another podcast which I follow, where the host has created this GPT, where you can analyze any job, and then it will output the amount of AI impact that'll be on the different activities or tasks on the job. And because this is a GPT, it's available for free. So you can go on this link, you can click on launch jobs GPT, and then it'll launch this in your ChatGPT session. And in this case, to just quickly show how it works, you just type a name of your job title. So if I'm a social media marketing analyst, I can type that. And then the GPT will analyze all the different tasks which are typically done by somebody in that particular job role. And then it gives you a score of how much of that task can be saved by using AI. So it's not necessarily a replacing AI, but how much of time you can save. So in this case, it's saying that social media strategy development is where you can save 30 to 50%
Yeah.
of the time. And if we see the big ones, here on sentiment analysis, social media listening and sentiment analysis is where it can save 60 to 80% of the time. And then there are some activities where they may not be like influencer identification and outreach. So it's sort of or near the 30% mark. So this then gives you that if you want to prepare, because we know that out of the jobs we have today, some jobs are going to go. Many jobs are going to get transformed, that, the tasks you do as part of the job will
Yeah.
change. But also many new jobs are going to get created, which don't exist today. So those are the three types of transformation we are expecting for. So at least this allows you to see whatever job you're doing today, then you can enter that. If you have an exact job description, you can also enter your exact job description, because with the job title, then it's guessing what you do. When
Mhm.
a social media marketing analyst in Coca-Cola will be doing something very different than a social media marketing analyst, at a small business. So it gives you much better output if you actually put your job description of what you do, and then it can analyze and it can tell you, okay, where you should be looking for opportunities to start using AI so you can start becoming more productive.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing for me, right? Is it's not meant to freak people out, but I think it's
Mhm.
not, we don't know what we don't know. And so stuff like this is great to go, hey, let's go look under that rock, because there's probably
Yeah.
some gold nuggets. So I think
Yeah.
I'm excited about this, because I think what happens is, especially when we're in business for ourselves, or working for somebody else, we're doing what we do. And so
Yeah.
it's like, unless you're intentional about doing research and wondering where to go, or wondering what's happening, about, how this could impact it, you may not be aware of the missed opportunity.
Yeah, and AI is going to impact, right? So it's just whether you want to be proactive and start doing something about it, start learning, start using,
Yeah.
or you wait, for it to come to you, and then it may be too late. It
Yeah.
may be too late after that. And then I have this on the second role. I was just doing the testings. The social media content creator is where it says that 70 to 90%, is where scheduling your social media post. That if you want to do something on a much regular basis, there's a lot of AI and automation, which can then make that part of that job role much easier. And then on the ideation and brainstorming, there's about 40 to 70%
Hmm.
savings you can get. And there are these E levels, the exposure levels. So there is an indicator table here. It just says whether there is any exposure to AI of that activity, or is there a direct exposure, or it gets impacted by the large language model, the reasoning capabilities, or by the video capabilities, audio capabilities. So it just tells you which part of AI may come and impact or affect that task in that particular job role.
Yeah. So it's like, you don't want to turn over the black rock. You want to turn over the blue rock with the little gold specks, because
Yeah.
that's where it is.
Yeah. And you can then also interact with this. So you can then say that, okay, how do I start using AI for copywriting and caption?
Yeah.
So it can also guide you on, okay, where do you start? How do you start learning, and so on. So I think this will be a very useful resource for at least the proactive professionals, who want to be ready for the changing AI world. Yeah.
Well, and
Anything to
it's
add?
it's built on chat, so because it is a custom GPT, so it's freaking cool. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's already
People,
used by more than 10,000 people, more than 10,000 times. So
oh wow.
I just found out about it, and I'm gonna start using it more and more.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
Michael,
love
was there anything to add?
No, I was just about to say it'll help a lot of people to get in the game.
Yes,
And
yes, absolutely.
where in the game will be most valuable in their business.
yeah, definitely. Awesome,
Okay.
Manoj. What's
Yeah,
happening
let
with
me then switch
Copilot?
to let me switch to Copilot. So just one capability I wanted to introduce, which is creating charts. So previously with Copilot, if you wanted to create bar charts, pie charts, you had to go into Excel to create those. But now those capabilities are available in Copilot, and I've already created just to save time. So if I just scroll down to that part, so this is where I uploaded an Excel file with some data. And then I can just ask questions saying, okay, give me a pie chart based on this variable. So I have some risk variable there. And then it gives you a pie chart by, what type, how many records do you have of different risk types in your Excel file. And then I said, okay, give me a bar chart showing that I want this by financial impact amount by this variable. Then it gives you a bar chart for that. And then I said, okay, exclude this one variable from the x-axis. So you can then exclude it from the bar chart. And okay, and I was playing with the color code, so it didn't understand the color code. So that's what I was trying to see how far it can go.
Yeah.
But it seems that there was an issue with the color code. But at least you can start quickly creating, if you have an Excel data, you can start analyzing that visually in Copilot without going into Excel.
How do
That's
you
what you have to.
export? How do you export out of?
I think it's an image, so I'm assuming you can just click on Save Image As because it'll be a graphic, these particular charts.
Does it
So you
have
can.
it like, so would the underlying data be there almost like PowerPoint when you create a table, chart, graph, that the underlying data is sitting in an Excel spreadsheet?
In this case, yeah, the
There is.
data is still sitting in the spreadsheet. Yeah, and these charts are
Okay.
just image. So if you want to take it into a presentation, you can then copy and paste it into the presentation.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I love
So
it.
that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, I think this is awesome stuff. So people all around the world that struggle with charts and graphs, your world just got easier. I do love it. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Michael, any comments on what Manoj has shared?
No, I love it because again, Copilot can help in corporations. So
Yeah,
that would be value.
yeah.
And now charts.
Um,
That's
Yeah, I
huge.
want to share an example. I'm going to go into chat. So anyway, what I want to do is share an example with chat. And I was talking to the guys before we hit record. Is I think it's important for us to go back to basics. There's a lot of bells and whistles going on. And when we talked at the beginning, it's like, basically AI and chat and other stuff is just part of our lives. So while we work on developing applications, with that takes more lead time, there's other stuff that's literally right here. And like I said before, it's at your front doorstep. So I had a client that I was talking to him about havening technique for, an anxious child, and I'd learned it through a hypnotherapy course that I was in. I knew about it and I was telling her about it, but I wanted to give her some handout or more information to research. And so I went to chat and I said, here, I'm looking for information on havening from Paul McKenna. So I knew the details on it. So chat came back with this, which is all accurate. With a video, I watched the video, that was 11 minutes long. And this was not exactly what I was looking for because there was a different version of it. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool, but this isn't gonna help me. But then again, I had subject matter expertise and knew what I was looking for, right? Which I'm sure plenty of business owners or humans know and been exposed to and have it, but how do you bring other people up to speed? So I said, thanks. There was another example where we rub our arms and say phrases like, I am safe, I am calm, I am fill in the blank. So then chat came back and said, yeah, it was an adaptation from Paul McKenna. So here's all the information on how it works. So I read through it, confirmed that's accurate. So now I wanted to go deeper because the application I wanted it for was for a 5-year-old child, right? So then I asked Chat, it would be great for a 5-year-old who's afraid to sleep by herself without her mom. So here's a general child friendly. So now I'm narrowing it down to this part of it. And so literally when I looked through all this stuff, it was awesome because everything was accurate to be able to help the child get reprogrammed, to tell her brain that she's safe. She's going to feel all this stuff. So, I was able to take this, tweak it into a few things, give the mom the adult version of it for her, and also the child version. This whole thing took 7 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes. And I
Wow.
was telling the guys, I literally I'll go back to back on stuff. I wouldn't have been able to, I would have had this on my list. Hey, send some information, whatever. So when you think as a business owner or working for somebody else, where these opportunities exist for you, I'm not doing any, there's no intellectual property. There's nothing that I'm giving up when I'm doing this. I'm citing and attributing everything to Paul McKenna, where it came from. But it made my life so much easier. So I wanted to be able to share that because, like Manoj was just doing, we have this, And then we can also go into chat and say, you know, I'm going to use Cambria crumbs. I have a small bakery in Cambria, right? California. How can I leverage AI for my business? So again, like Manoj said, what he showed with the jobs GPT, you know, which is just this custom instructions that are in the background. So you're not necessarily having to prompt anything, but you can go in and ask it, because a lot of times I think the barrier to people is I don't have the time to research. I don't have the time to do whatever. I really don't know what's out there. The stuff that's out there, literally you can go into a free account with ChatGPT and ask these questions. So here's responses of stuff that can come back through. Then to, like Manoj said, you know, hey, I want this, right? So I'm going to copy this. Give me more info on this. Recommend steps to roll it out. Roll is R-O-L-L, not R-O-U-L, rule. And so I'm just going to paste this in. So here's the AI generated loyalty program. So if you don't know, you can have step by step, and I think it goes back to have a conversation with chat. Have a conversation and go through it so that you can go deeper on it. That's one example. I want to go into Grok. And actually, let's go back here. And what I want to do is do this same prompt in Grok. So like Michael talked, deep search. So pretty much all of them have their own deep research thing. And so Michael will share the chat one. So I'm going to say this same thing into Grok. Wow, that was quick. So that was a lot faster. Cozy vibe to work with. Here's all inventory management. So I want to know more on personalized outreach. So more about personalized outreach. So we'll see what it comes back with. Segment your audience, stuff to do. So I want to share this because right now Grok is free. Grok is not always going to be free, I'm sure. There's been a ton of money invested in Grok. But play with it. Michael's going to share deep research on the other. Say more about this. Okay, so I just tapped on deep research. This is the difference. So you can see the visuals different, right? And like Michael was talking about, it's telling you what it's doing and exploring, what resources it's looking at, all the stuff that's going through, 29 web pages. So I think this is a little bit faster than if you or I were going through 29 web pages. And here's your output. Relatively quick. I'm not going to waste time on going through it, but what I want to do is encourage you, test this stuff out. We call play with it, but play with it is giving you real frickin' stuff that you can do stuff with your business. It's still cranking things out. So back to you, Michael.
Yeah, and something to add to that, Michelle, is that when you start interacting, initially you'll see that the responses will be very generic, but you need to continue the dialogue because the more it knows about you, it knows about your organization. In the fourth or the fifth iteration is where you'll start getting deep insights because initially when it doesn't know enough about you, then you'll see that, okay, the responses are generic and a lot of people give up, in that first response. Oh, this is, like I could have opened any book and it would have given me this answer. It's not insightful, but iterate, so and the fourth and fifth iteration is where you'll start to see the value of the content from AI.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of like the deeper dive, and I only went 2 levels with the stuff on havening, right? It's like, no, that's it, but this is what I want. And you're absolutely right. And so don't give up. And don't, and I encourage you to go below the surface, to your point, Manoj, because there's just so much more there than what I think people realize. Yeah. Michael, you had some stuff on chat for deep research.
Yes, and I would love to share that because it was very interesting to see Can you see my screen with ChatGPT?
Now we can
Yes.
see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So I started to do the deep research with ChatGPT, and the first thing I did it was just I'm trying to compare different providers for password managers, right?
Okay.
So especially that is a sensitive product that you wanna check. So it throws back at you questions. What do you want what comparables do you want to have in that research? And I like that because it give me all of this and I give it a few of the ones that are main concept that I want make sure to do that research on, like pricing, security level, what features, like platform supports, reputation, how many times there was been a breach before, and so on. So, but that process and took about almost 15 minutes, and actually 16 minutes. But during that time, it was walking me through on the side was what it was doing. So obviously, Grok can be much faster now with this technology, but I like this feature where it gets you to be specific on what concepts you were doing
Mhm.
your comparable research, right? And then after that wait, it was very generous and it was very organized. So it's actually put it into tables, table comparables, and even with the resources where each one is coming from, right? And then here you go. You got all the
Wow.
compare
I feel
in
like this is like you know how you do compare washing machines or whatever
yes.
it be. This is like the thing on steroids.
But it's very powerful because you can really sometimes when you're in a deep research in a market, either for a product or a solution or anything, and you have so many overwhelming options and information, right? That would take a lot of first is we need to refine the question, which what I liked about what are we comparing in what perspectives. So that
Mhm.
is powerful. The second thing is like this can be applied in so many industries and even pros and cons. Even so after it gave me all of that, I prompted to do, okay, well, give me the end result conclusion and which one would you recommend? So I prompted so that way it give me an as if a suggestion. I want you give me a solution according, it still give me a few pros and cons and it tell me if this is your main priority then this guy is better.
Yeah.
If this is your main priority, then this guy is
Hmm.
better. It was the choices becomes um less strain on your
Oh, and
brain.
it actually had the one that it was the worst, so don't even consider it at all.
Yeah, and it
This
was
guy's
yeah,
at the bottom of the barrel. Don't even think
exactly,
about it.
exactly. And that was actually and that was an eye-opening experience too because I needed to know that.
Yeah,
That's huge,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So
I think this will be great for decision making, right? That we, in small and medium businesses, yeah, we're making so many decisions, and then you
true.
don't have the time to go out and do this sort of analysis of looking at 30, 40, 50 different websites and analyze and collect all the data
And
uh,
I'm glad you
that it can be
brought
quite
that part
simple. Mm,
because so we learned that the decision making is usually most and the prioritizing is at the frontal lobe, which is a
mm,
very limited resources
Hmm.
in the
mm.
day.
Yeah,
Usually, once you wake up, you have it fully charged and you have a very limited resources. So your best decisions is going to be early in the day, and not
yeah,
the bet your best decision will be at the end of the day when you're really tired and drained. So that
yeah.
will save a lot of resources from
Mm.
decision making and prioritizing through the day.
Yeah,
That's
yes,
cool.
absolutely,
I love
absolutely.
it.
Amazing. Yeah.
Um, Thank you guys.
You're very welcome.
This has
Thank
been
you.
cool. This has been cool. I have missed you, Michael. I've missed you, Manoj. I've missed
Yeah.
everyone. It's good to hang out with you guys. Appreciate topics, and until next time, this has been AIBecause. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a freaking awesome day. Thank you.
We got
Thank
the
you.
spark in the circuits now. As dummies listen, we'll show you how. A new wave rising, it's clear and loud. AI's the future, let's make you proud. Data and dreams combine in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI because we're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods.